You're a meshy? You're a meshy? Honestly, why do I even bother? Can any of you children tell me what happens when you take one rotten apple and put it into a bowl full of good ones? They all go bad real quick. And class, Urameshi is definitely a rotten apple. Keep your distance, or else you'll be contaminated by his rot.
What's this?
If you're planning to save someone's life, take the 45. If you're planning to put the barrel in your mouth, the 9mm is more than enough. They've taken my only daughter, Detective Moore. Michelle, she's 10 years old. My butler, Asso, he was the only witness. Ha! I knew it. And now those bloodsuckers want me to pay a ransom.
A ransom?
That's right. I just got the call. They want $3 million cash in used, unmarked bills.
No, sir. It must be some sort of mistake. I'm certain.
Enough, Asso. You keep out of this. Are you really accusing me of this? But I told you, I haven't practiced sword fighting in years. I'd be no match for Mr. Maru.
Then what are you doing here?
I came to return money I borrowed from Damien.
Tell me, sir, where were you between the hours of 3 and 5 p.m.?
Well, if you must know, I was in my room meditating all afternoon.
And you have no witnesses to this?
No, I do not. What do you mean, old man?
Nothing, sir.
You're all late. Set up the presentation. Mind if I interrupt here for a moment?
Mr. Fuman.
Who are you?
Inspector, I'm George Fuman, president of Nintendo Games. I received this strange letter 3 days ago and thought it might be related to this bombing. Could you take a look? That's my company's emblem. It's on all of our briefcases. I'm sorry to leave you like this, Richard, but I have to go.
Something's wrong, Tompson. Spill it.
Maurice Cortesini, gangster. I've been using him on a hush-hush case for the past few months. He claims he accidentally killed a man last night.
You're using him?
He's been trying to break away from the mob, so we put an offer on the table. Anyway, it would be in everyone's best interest if I could reel him in quietly. Yes, that's right. I was invited over to spend time with my son, but he was locked in his study and Camille was out. I got bored, so I went to the parlor and watched a program on TV. So it's true. She is the Adele Kaiser after all.
Yes, she was on vacation.
And you are?
I'm Detective Richard Moore. Adele and I were both staying here at the same lodge.
Wow, 2 big shots in one day. Name's Frier, Rescue and Recovery. We found something of interest beside the body. Sleeping pills. Adele brought you guys a fresh bottle about 10 o'clock p.m., which means she committed suicide after that. Another $1 million is waiting for you on the back end of the deal. I expect you to earn it. As a world-class detective, you must have noticed all the people gathered for a party in my honor tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Among those in attendance will be my daughters. I'd like you to keep an eye on them for anything suspicious.
Shouldn't we back this story up just a bit?
Could be, Dr. Preston. Maybe you could do a better job of explaining it than I could.
8 million US.
8 million?
I'll gladly pay more if it means I get the egg. Yes, and the process for crafting them is rather unique. In the isolationist era, it said that Japanese Christians used the mirrors to project crosses which they could pray to in secret. If it's found, it'd be worth over 10. Nah, forget it. 10.5 million at least.
There's no time for this. Now sit down. There are pressing matters to discuss.
I apologize for the late welcome. Thank you for coming. Scum of the sea. Let's begin. I doubt any more of the warlords plan to attend. Truth be told, 2 out of 6 is more than I expected. Forgive me for not applauding your business success. I'm afraid that for the rest of us, there are few things more distressing than a booming pirate industry.
I understand why you think you have an advantage over a man like me, since I possess neither your impenetrable ultimate shield nor an ultimate spear that can pierce any substance. But I'll tell you a secret. Do you know how I managed to distinguish myself amongst the storms of bullets on the battlefield time after time, to rise to my current position? I may not have the protection of your ultimate shield, but I clearly see your weakness with my ultimate eye. Now then, Greed. How many times am I going to have to kill you before you stay dead? They call it a parallel world, an entire planet existing side by side with ours, separate yet connected by some invisible force. They might share similarities of history and people, but with some fundamental difference. Maybe it's a realm where magic and dragons do exist. Or I don't know, maybe where alchemy triumphed over physics and paved the whole world in gold. And maybe, given those rules, Fritz Long isn't a director. Maybe he's a criminal, walking around with the same face as mine. Or for that matter, maybe he's a woman. Imagine. It's fun to think about it, isn't it? I have to say, I'm quite impressed.
It was presented beautifully. Thank you so much.
What would you say to a party tonight in your honor?
I can't. I must stay here for the next 12 hours to keep an eye on things.
Of course, I understand. You're a true professional. Maybe we could meet up for lunch sometime.
The evidence suggests that this was yet another attack by Fade Out. They have proven themselves to be a hardline faction amongst the anti-chip advocates, and saying they are a dangerous element is no exaggeration.
We didn't know our son was nice enough to have friends. You're not a kid anymore. When did you forget how to talk to your parents? Where's the respect? Well, son, is there something you'd like to tell your mother and I? I hope. She's too good for him, if you ask me.
The carrier's on the move. We've left the Rostock docks and then traveled along the Little Belt. Now it's lurking in the Sugnafjord inside my kingdom.
Hell, your kingdom.
I don't care what the Germanians claim. Nord will always be our land. Mr. Stanley, it's imperative that we have the help of the United States of Atlanta. Isn't there any way you can send us troops?
If we attack Ishvan without just cause, the Empire would consider it nothing less than a blatant act of war.
What the hell are you doing, Namako?
Oh no, it's not what it looks like. This man forced me. I didn't have a choice.
Don't lie to me.
Ah!
You invited this young man into the house, didn't you?
No, he forced me to do it.
I told you to stop lying. Who do you think pays for this easy life of yours? You should be ashamed of yourself, you bitch! You get everything you want, but it's never enough! You're pathetic! I can't let a dirty whore like you ruin my good reputation! You're like a bitch in heat!
Kanako Sakuragi, age 23. Went to Johto Prefectural Nursing School. Gaia, he branded me with these long ago.
You fought Gaia?
I was much younger then in my fighting prime. Gaia was a formidable opponent, but that didn't stop me from winning one battle after another. But victory can give a man a false sense of invulnerability. I made the fateful mistake of fighting Gaia one-on-one in the jungle. War. That is Gaia's true identity.
Hey, Akio. Hi there, son.
Cut to the chase, Dad. What do you need now?
Well, it's like this, son. You see, I've got a little bit of a problem, you know? I need some money. Not a whole lot. Just enough to pay off some things.
Again?
Oh, come on, son. Don't be like that. You could help out your old man.
And I would have expected the young miss to be here by now as well.
Why wait, you monster?
A public safety investigator has disappeared in the north. That's why I'm asking all of the members of Section 2 to head up there and take a good look around. So, you up for it? The public safety official we're looking for was last heard from in a small town called Montalcino. He'd been investigating an assassin named Pinocchio, who worked for the Padania, better known to us as the Five Republics faction. My advice to you is to simply watch your ass.
Koga and Iga clans? That was truly extraordinary. Who could have guessed that lethal ninjas lurk so close to Yagyu lands? I am both amazed and wary of this.
So then, the remaining ghost came up with a perfect plan. They would have to take people hostage, including the family of a powerful senator, and use them as bargaining chips to demand their latest release. Tomorrow, our great teacher will be questioned by the New York judiciary. All this train amounts to in the end is a sacrifice to our glorious leader. Back to your question. How can you be spared? Thing is, everyone who hears this story dies.
My whole body's gone to hell, but especially my lower back. Nothing I take seems to help. What the hell? Huh? Mr. Shinyo disappeared into thin air. Where'd he go? I bet you he was spirited away. Either that or a UFO picked him up.
How can you be so fucking nonchalant? If you didn't screw up taking back the airbase from those swine, this wouldn't even be happening. When the hell are you going to take some responsibility in this? Don't give me that. When the multinational force gets here, your organization is going to be under their command, just like us.
Imagine how he'll feel when he awakens to find his dear guild hall destroyed and his children dead and gone. He'd be lost, completely consumed by sorrow. Once he's been reduced to that miserable state, I can swoop in and kill him. But first, I'll make him suffer. I'll torture him until he has no choice but to wither and die. You have a duty as the only Ozaki child. Our family bears a heavy responsibility for this village. The lives of all of its people are in our hands. The loss of any life is a disgrace to the family name. You are the Ozaki heir. Do you understand your duty?
No, it's fine. If they were first on the waiting list, so be it. I'll come again.
Really? You mean it?
But let me give you a word of warning. That chef will become world famous now that he's made the soup. You should get him a bodyguard. There's a lot of crazy people out there.
We gotta get her down now!
No!
It's the producer.
Yeah, she's rough, but I like her. She's got lots of spunk. I can see it all over her face.
Hey, Pops, an order of gizzards.
Here you go.
Oh, hey, Pops, how about some liver steaks?
Here you go.
Pig's trotters, please, Pops.
Here you go.
Let's add on some shrimp cakes and bamboo shoot sashimi, too.
Here you go.
Hey, Tesso.
It's your turn. All right, Pops. Today I'll take the entire pig's head.
Here you go.
I'm terribly sorry. Even the British Museum was unaware of this. We only found out the truth of the matter today.
But the relic, if it's not the stab sword, then what is it?
Ma'am, the law regarding the relic is quite often confused and vague, thus the regrettable lack of conclusive evidence. But we do not believe that it's a sword.
It's not?
The locals refer to it as Croce di Pietra. I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but in our language that translates to the Cross of Peter.
I can drive you the rest of the way. I really don't mind.
Thanks. But I think a little night air might do me some good.
Very good, sir. Here, take this. A gift from the Orochi-Bara family.
As you might imagine, we have many questions. If the target's identity was beyond all doubt, why would you neglect to request aid from the military police? Erwin, you have me grasping at straws to exonerate you. What I need is proof that your tactics yielded some manner of benefit. Granted, Annie Leonard is rendered innocuous, but also essentially useless.
Yes, sir. That she is.
Are you saying it was all for nothing?
Here's what I don't understand about these attacks. There's no need for a ghoul to eat this much in such a short amount of time. We know that consuming one dead body is enough to keep them alive for a month or two.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Ogura. Why can't ghouls be satisfied eating the same food that humans do?
Well, to put it simply, they can only derive nutrition from human flesh. Eating anything else can actually be detrimental to them. Our food tastes disgusting to ghouls, because their tongues work differently than ours do.
I just received a rather disturbing report. Much to my surprise, it seems your brother manifested an angel. If worse comes to worse, we may be forced to deal with him. If not, calamity could again befall the spirits we work so hard to seal. And you know as well as I that is not an option.
I see.
I'm sorry to force such an unpleasant task on you, but I'm afraid we have no other choice.
Howdy, fellas.
Would you guys be the dropkicks?
Us? What if we are? You got something to say?
How's the recording contract with my company sound? You guys have potential to be big, #1 in the galaxy. Hey, no problem. We'll do both.
Huh?
Right, boys?
So young, and yet your work is already mired in monotony.
A textbook piece in every way, with a checklist of features to curry favor with judges. We all face the wall of mediocrity, at least attempt to climb it.
If you could elaborate, Director.
When you've been in the business as long as I have, you start to look for the heart of the piece. This one has none at all.
There's something not right about this patient. To put it mildly, it's disturbing all of the nurses. Do you know his medical history at all? Anything you can tell me would help. Well, as soon as we give him a transfusion, it disappears. The blood, I mean.
Yes, Lord. I'm afraid the swamps that once surrounded the great tomb of Nazarick are nowhere to be seen. Furthermore, I cannot confirm a single building, human or monster, within 1 kilometer of here. It would seem we are completely isolated. You are the head of all the supreme beings, and even though the other creators had left us behind, you mercifully stayed in Nazarick until the very end. If there's nothing more, I'll return to my duties. I do not know where Lord Lamonga has gone within the tomb, but wherever he is, I should stay by his side.